Welcome to IronCast, brought to you by GT&E. I'm your host, Jason Gilhooly. In this podcast, we talk all things iron. Whether you're in the dirt, trees, or pavement, it's about real people, their stories, and real conversation. Insight to what's happening in the construction industry and everything in between. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get things fired up and ready to go. IronCast podcast is recording. We are on, and we're off like a herd of turtles.
I can't.
Is this whole episode going to be just you laughing?
It could be, yeah. Yeah, it could be.
Did it just get real for you?
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Should we start again?
Leave that. Why are we taking that out?
I'm not taking it out. I was just going to hit the... Wow. Welcome to the IronCast. We are in the IronCast studio here at our Lebanon location, which is where the magic happens with the IronCast. And today we've got a full house. Rachel, you're back. Welcome.
I'm back. I made it back.
Yep. Now folks can't see this, but you're kind of like sitting in the corner.
I have a workstation set up with my camera.
Yep. You got all your favorite
video
things.
station set up.
Yep.
And I have my design work up, so I'll be.
Yep. You're multitasking, getting things done. And we're glad to have Rachel back with us as a co-host. And, you got your computer there. If we need to fact check anything, you're going to be right on it, right?
Yeah.
Also, don't call it a comeback. He's been doing this, once. We have from episode 1 as another co-host. That's three hosts. We have Jay Cole. Welcome, Jay Cole, to the IronCast again.
Thanks, Jason. I'm excited to be here for the second time.
I know you don't even know what to do with your hands.
Yeah. Don't know what to do with it.
And today we're going to introduce our guest. Maybe even call you friend.
Sure. Yeah.
Welcome, Geoff.
Friend of the show, or
friend of the show. You are an avid podcaster.
Sure. Yeah.
Listening of podcasts, I should say. Welcome, Geoff Ruhl.
Thank you.
And yes, his last name is Ruhl because he
rules.
Yeah. Geoff, can I ask you though, how do you spell your first name?
So it's Geoff, the correct way.
So this whole time, everybody's spelling it Jeff.
Yeah.
That's
the wrong way. Yeah.
It's not Jeffrey though. Like what's on your birth certificate?
Jeffrey. So yeah, Jeffrey, Geoffrey. REY.
That's a lot of letters. Just say Jeffrey.
Yeah, it is.
But
there's a shorter way to spell it to say Jeffrey, but
is there?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeffrey, I got to be honest with you. You've been with the company for how many years?
3 years now.
So I remember 3 years ago when I saw your name come through as a new employee, and I saw Geoff. I have to be honest. I think I said to myself, Geoff?
That's a pretty common one, yeah.
Is it common?
That's pretty common.
Is there any other names that people when you send them an email, they like, hey, is Geoff there?
I get Joff a lot.
Joff.
Yeah, that. Greg, George. Yeah.
Wait, Greg?
Greg. I don't know where you get Greg from, but
yeah, that's a little.
That's pretty common. That's probably the most common mix-up is Greg.
Yeah. Jay, has anybody ever messed up your name?
No.
That's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
That's good.
One syllable.
1 syllable.
3 letters.
You could even short, like, do you ever just save ink? Do you just put J?
Nah.
Like the letter J?
2 more letters ain't going to hurt nothing.
Nah, that's true. 3 out of 1 ain't bad. Okay. So Geoff, why don't you tell us what you do here with GT&E? What's your role?
So I'm the Lebanon Field Service Supervisor. I work alongside with the service manager, Tom. And
the Honorable Tom Raybould.
Yeah, the great Tom.
Tom the Great.
And I deal mostly with the the field techs scheduling, but I, dabble in the shop scheduling. I'm getting
You dabble in the shop
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've been with the company 3 years. So that means you came on, I think it was back then it was Plaster Equipment Company because you worked out of Lebanon store the whole time.
Yes, correct.
So you're a pretty young guy.
I am, yeah. 32.
32. How long have you been in, let's just say, the whole construction industry?
10 years now? Yeah, 10 and a half, 11 years.
That's a career.
Yeah, different roles, but yeah,
Right.
somewhere in and around the construction industry.
So Geoff, let's hear your story. What's your story?
So yeah, grew up around here in Lancaster, and then out of high school, joined the Marines.
Excellent. Thank you for your service.
Thanks for the recognition. Did that for 4 years, got out. Did demolition for 6 months or so. And then I got my first job turning wrenches at Lift Inc.
Okay.
Working on aerial.
Yeah.
Working on aerial equipment. And then that was bought out to be Sunbelt. Did that for a total of 7 years and some change.
So you've been through an acquisition before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, August of 2022 started here and transitioned out of, turning wrenches into management.
Okay.
And that's, that brings us to today.
So let's go back.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Marines. What'd you do in the Marines?
I was a motor transport operator. So it's military for a truck driver.
You drove truck.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a deuce?
Well, they don't use deuce and a half anymore. It's a 7-ton, but yeah, same similar thing.
I just like saying the word deuce.
So yeah, I did that. And then I did a short little stint being a range coach in California. Did marksmanship training for about a year. Then I got out. So yeah.
So then you also mentioned, you were with Lift working on aerials.
Yes.
Rachel, do you know what aerials are?
No.
So yeah, I worked on a mix of boom lifts, scissor lifts, telehandlers, just the wide range of, can be anything from an electric scissor lift to rough terrain, gas powered scissor lifts. You see the boom lifts outside a lot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
What was it like working in that part of the industry? Because there's what I know, there's definitely a divide. Would you say so, Jay? Like there's a divide between lifts and aerials and stuff like that to construction equipment?
I would say so. Usually more of that like is considered like rental house equipment type thing. You end up working on like chainsaws, demo saw, like more stuff like that. Small jam.
It kind of has its own category.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like?
I always liked it. Going up in the air was always a rush. We rented not just your scissor lifts and everything. So we had 180-foot boom lifts, 120s. So that's...
What was the highest you ever got?
185 feet was the highest boom lift I was ever in.
What was it like up there?
It's more sturdy than you would think.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat to be up there. And nothing's going to happen. Everyone thinks they're, up there shaking around, and they're pretty sturdy. It's pretty cool. It's a rush for sure.
Were you ever up one when there was an earthquake?
No, I
that
wasn't.
Would be
it
wild,
seems like a pretty
it?
specific situation.
Around here, it doesn't happen too often.
No.
I was actually on a forklift one time during an earthquake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was, about 3 feet from the ground, so I felt pretty safe.
You're relatively safe.
I was just kind of shaking back and forth a little bit.
But yeah.
So you went through an acquisition back then.
Yeah, I did.
What was that like for you? Going from Lift to Sunbelt? Because that Sunbelt is huge.
Oh, ginormous. Across the world. A lot of unknowns. You don't really know what to expect. You're used to one type of leadership, especially coming from a smaller company. Going into a bigger company, you no longer see the owners. The upper management are pictures and emails or something like that. It's not a person anymore, really. But all in all, it was good. It was a good experience. Working for a bigger company wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
There's room to grow. They're more willing to throw money around and train and stuff like that.
So I know we've been out on the road a little bit together, and we got a chance to, talk about some things. And you did talk about, we were driving around, I think, Lancaster City, and you were talking about, going out to job sites. And what was that like for you? What was some of the most memorable experiences going out to job sites?
It was always cool. I like to see, especially the area that I live in, see things developing. You also get to know your customer base. So we had regular customers, and they become friends, or, at least work acquaintances. But yeah, it was always cool to see jobs develop into, it was just a empty lot to, a hotel building or stores down in Lancaster or something like that. It was always cool to see that.
Yeah. Rachel, did you have a question for Geoff?
Yeah, I was wondering about when you're up 185 feet in the air, like, what are you doing when you're up that high?
Usually, as a technician, you're testing your work to make sure it is working correctly.
What would be a common failure why they wouldn't lift?
Usually either a hydraulic hose or a harness issue.
Okay.
A wire harness has to go the entire length. So
Right.
that would be your probably two most common failures is, yeah.
Are there common failures that you see here with GT&E in the shop? Like just maybe something that's pretty common, a lot of calls you get?
After treatment emission systems, pretty common right now.
The bane of the industry and
Yeah.
other industries across the world.
Def headers. Common all the time.
Jay, you see a lot of that stuff. What do you think?
Oh,
What's the common denominator?
I'm with Geoff. Def headers keep us in business, man. What?
It's a def header kind of world, right?
Yeah. What do you schedule? What, at least 2 a week, maybe?
I just scheduled one today. Yeah.
This is good promotion for John Deere.
Yeah.
Geoff, I was curious. Was there any customers that you had at Lyft or at Sunbelt that you're like, oh man, I'm going to be a little disappointed not to work with them in the future? And then they're like, oh, like they're still my customer. I still get to work with them.
I don't really see anybody that I seen before. I'm trying to think, if I have any customers that I, had back then that I still see today. I don't really think there's a little bit of a difference between heavy equipment and aerial equipment. So, they're doing a lot of different work. But yeah, so no, I don't really see any of my common or, my regular customers that I had back then, anymore today.
So I'm curious too, going back to your time in the Marines.
Okay.
What has any of that you think shaped you into where, what you're doing now in both, lifts and aerial lifts and that, and construction equipment? Like, what do you think sets you apart because you had 4 years in the Marines?
I learned respect is a big thing for me. So chains of commands, people, in charge of you, managers, that kind of thing, and respect for those above you, I think is something that has always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, what was it like in the Marines for you? Like you say that you had, you reported to somebody, they reported.
Yeah, you don't bypass the person in front of you. So you have somebody. Almost everybody has someone in charge of them. So in order to get to, get an answer or something, you just have to go through your chain of command. If you have a question or a problem, you go to your next person in charge. They can't fix it. Just continues going up through.
Yeah.
But I still believe firmly in a chain of command. I think that's very important. Especially
that's why systems are in place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you used that? I mean, I personally, we talk every day.
Yeah.
You're like, I have like a top 5 on my phone. It shows me how many times I've called people. And,
Yeah.
And you're above my wife.
That's interesting.
Well, I see her more than you.
Well, yeah.
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 But, we talk a lot, but I've noticed that, there's a level of respect for the systems.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I've noticed that you take precedence over.
we're going to get this person involved with this problem.
Yeah, if I can't answer it on my level, just one next level. I don't like to jump around somebody. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you just have to respect that. These people are put in place for a reason. They may not be able to provide you the solve the problem you have, but they can at least get you to that person.
So Geoff, you primarily as a technician before your transition into a managerial role.
Yeah.
Did that give you some maybe newfound respect for some prior managers you really didn't get along with previously, or?
For sure. There's certain things that you don't maybe understand why they happened the way they did, or didn't feel like maybe it was in your best interest. You don't understand that until you're on the other side of the table. And I definitely carried that into my transition into management. Is I didn't want to be the managers I didn't, necessarily get along with in my past. I didn't want to have those bad traits and try and remember what it felt like to be in that position. So that's something I try and hopefully I do a good job at. But yeah.
So what was some of the major learning curves into actually becoming a manager? Like, what was something you weren't expecting? Like a headache that you got to deal with, or a common problem or scenario you find yourself in all the time?
Talking about money with customers is always...
What don't you like about, like, what part about that don't you like?
Talking about money is my least favorite topic with customers. Talking about bills.
You don't like bills?
I don't like bills. They don't like bills.
Nobody likes bills.
No. So, and we have a wide variety of customers here. So, it could be just a mom and pop owner operator, or, some of the bigger corporations that we work with. So, those mom and pop organizations, when you're talking about a few $1,000s, that's a big hit.
Yeah.
So that's always a little uncomfortable. Definitely my least favorite thing to do on my day-to-day task.
What's the easiest way that you've found? I mean, you've been doing this for a little while now, right? I mean, so
yeah.
You probably made some mistakes discussing bills.
Yeah.
What have you found is the best way to, let's say I'm your customer and you're going to have to present me with a bill that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Obviously it's necessary, but like, how do you convey that? What's your tactic?
I try and open with covering what we've done. The repair that we did, what it took. It seems like if you break it down a little more piece by piece, it hurts less. You understand it before you hear the big number at the end. Or be open at the beginning and just say, hey, this is what our rate is right now. If it's a common job, this is what we've done it for before. This is kind of what we're looking like. That seems to really help soften the blow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it always is not fun. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I get that. We work hand in hand a lot, and we're working with the same customers. I'm bringing work into the shop sometimes that you and I have to work together on things, and something comes up, you and I are communicating. And I think that's what's great, Geoff, and just to give you some affirmation here, it's so easy to communicate with you. And I think that systematic approach that you use, like knowing that, hey, this is the long and short of it. Okay. This is what we've done so far. And I get that. That's great. It makes my job a lot easier when I have to take that information along with what I've put together and then present to a customer as well. But I also do not like giving somebody a bill.
Yeah.
But I found over the years, so I was a service manager in my previous career working with motorcycles. One thing that I found was when you give somebody a bill and they know everything that was done, that starts to build that level of trust over the course of a couple years or so, the customer understanding the bill. After a while, I noticed that I'm going over this just like I've always done. Hey, we changed the oil. We we saw that this was bad. We talked to you about this. We quoted you this. It came in actually a little under, or, I'm going down through everything. After a while, I get halfway down the list. It goes, oh, that's good. I understand it now. So it's that. Have you started to, let's talk about our customers.
Yeah.
Customers a lot. Let me say it this way. Customers that you're dealing with more on maybe even a regular basis, but more periodic probably.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your customers who have you started to grow relationships with?
So we have, Horst Excavating is big in our area. So Carl down there he's somebody that I see his name come up. Yep. It's always good to talk to Carl.
He does brighten my day too.
Yeah. Brubacher, Ted.
Brubacher Excavating. Yep. Ted Schatzberger.
He's the one reaching out to me about some of the issues they have. Abel, before that buyout took over. Nate down there.
The old Nate Brown.
Yeah. JD Ekman is a common one we're seeing now. They're big in our area. A lot of John Deere equipment.
Yeah.
So Joe down there is
Joe Denver.
Yeah, he's always a good one to talk with. He's a fun guy.
He does have somebody in his relation that is John.
Yeah.
I asked him that the other day when I was with him. It's like, you have anybody in your family named John? He's like, yeah.
But yeah.
So JD Ekman, Brubacher Excavating, Horst Excavating, any others?
I'm sure there's some I'm forgetting.
It's on the spot, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, we got, like I said earlier, we have a big mix of, mom and pop, just, a couple guys on a crew versus, a few hundred guys that are out there excavating, and, they got so many pieces of equipment, different brands and everything like that.
Let's get real here, because it's a very real thing. What's it like sitting in your seat from 7 o'clock in the morning until?
Well, there's no itinerary, that's for sure. Anytime you try and plan something, it never goes to plan, I guess. Too many things keep happening. Try and do one thing and 3 other emergencies pop up.
Well, you have a schedule, right?
Yeah. You got to have a schedule, but whether or not you stick to the schedule is the other thing.
Yeah. So you got to keep it more fluid, or
you got to roll with the punches.
How do you maintain your schedule?
As far as for myself or my guys?
For your guys.
We have that one's probably a little more easily kept, but yeah. We have a schedule online and get the guys out there for the day from customer to customer.
Yeah. And are they calling you a lot during the day as they're out there on these jobs?
It depends on what they come across, whether we need to order parts or some sort of change, unexpected change with the job. But yeah, I talk to my guys fairly often.
How often does that happen? Like where things change when they're out there on the job?
Daily, I would say.
Daily.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Jay, you've done it. You were sitting in the booster seat of that truck how many years ago?
Oh, anything can go side. Like you can go out to a simple, it's just got a code come out and you're like, oh, this thing's blowed up. It needs to go back to the shop. Like it can happen in a hurry.
Yeah.
I would assume that most often when customers come in, they might be a little stressed if it's something unexpected that's happening.
Yeah, usually, and I say it to the guys that call me is, those guys, the customers do not call you because they're having a good day.
Yeah.
I'm never on the phone with someone for them to tell me that their day's going great.
Right.
So yeah.
How do you handle that if customers upset? You seem like it would just roll off.
Yeah, we just do what we can. If we got to move the schedule for, we got to get somebody out there as soon as we possibly can. You just roll with the punches. I don't know.
It's not an easy job.
It's not.
It really isn't. It always seems like that seat is where all the problems go.
Yeah.
And you're a problem solver.
I try to be.
But there's got to be some silver lining here. There's a reason why you put your boots on every day and you make your drive from Lancaster County here to Old Lepnin. And
I would say it's the guys that I work with. I tell my wife all the time that, that's that's what makes it easy to go to work is our group of guys, whether it's in the parts department or our service department. That's what makes the job easy,
Unless I'm calling you.
Well, unless you call me. But yeah, I mean, these guys, the guys in the building here, I spend more time with than I do my own wife and kids usually. So, if you don't like the people you work with, it really makes the job difficult.
Close proximity partners.
Exactly.
Talking about making things difficult, Geoff. I've always been on the receiving end, but what's it like to tell a guy at 3 o'clock on a Friday, hey, I got to send you an hour away for a machine that's down?
It's never easy, and I've been in that seat too. So I try and be as gentle as possible. But at the end of the day, it's something that needs to be done, and I don't enjoy saying it, but it is their, that's their job.
It's what we signed up for.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's usually rewarding. Be the hero, come in the end of the week, get them back up and running.
Well, and I tell them all the time, you make more money after 3:30 anyway. So those are the big, that's the big boy dollars.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be passion behind it too.
Absolutely.
What are you passionate about? At work or outside of work? Let's dive into Geoff.
I would say, I'm a big hunter. I love the outdoors. We just recently started getting my son into it, so that is a neat.
Oh, you have kids?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I have two boys.
What's their ages?
The oldest will be 4 next week, and then a 2-year-old.
4 and 2.
Yeah,
that's young.
2's the fun age.
That's true. They always say terrible 2s, but it comes after.
2's the best. Yeah.
Well, you have a 4-year-old. What's the difference? I mean, we got a lot of moms and dads out there.
Well, the 4-year-old, he did the terrible 2s. But the second child, it just seems like they're a little easier. You don't have to.
Are they, or are we just more
conditioned?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels easier. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so getting my 4-year-old into hunting, taking him out with me is something that is interesting and it's neat. I did that with my dad, so it's just fun to carry on.
Passing that on down to generations.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do your kids think it's cool that you work for John Deere?
My kids love it.
Yeah. Do you ever take them home swag or anything? Anything from the parts department?
Yeah, they have toys, and every now and then we'll bring them up here to crawl in and out of the equipment. But yeah, they love it. Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing with my kids. Anytime we would drive by on like a Saturday or something, I'd bring them in a lot. Like, hey, let's check this new piece that came in or something. Yeah,
the kids love the equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What else are you passionate about? You like hunting and being outdoors, and
I'm bigger into the motorsports. I like anything with an engine. Whether we're I like to go to sprint car races. Take my son to that. He's really grew into loving going along with.
Oh, they're a blast.
Yeah, and that's something that my brothers go along with. So it's a family event. But yeah, nice. I love tinkering with my own cars. So, but yeah.
Any projects that you're working on at home, or?
I have a 91 Corrado
really?
That I bought when I was in high school. I've kept it all this time. I don't get to work on it as much as I would like to, but I do still have it.
Is it like an endless project?
Well, it's a Volkswagen. So yeah, it's an endless project.
Yeah.
It's never going to be done, but yeah.
So do you ever take, like, I know some days when things are stacked up against, I bring that stuff home. Do you have that switch, or?
I take work home thinking I'm going to do it, and then I don't. So
what happens?
With the kids or just something going on, I guess it doesn't feel that important. So it just gets pushed to, There's Monday. Yeah. But I have worked over, in the evenings and something like that. Just because sometimes there's less distractions with 2 toddlers than there is with, 7 adults that I work with or whatever.
I'd say I do got a question for the pair of you guys. So like we got a CSA and a service manager together.
Yeah.
So like from the service, like, or from a salesman's perspective, like I'm trying to think like, hey, what do these guys do other than mess up my sale for the end of the month? So, I mean, like, how do you guys work together? Like, what's the recipe here of like
the secret sauce?
Like a customer calling you, Jason, to how Geoff gets involved. Like, walk me through that once.
So I'm out there at our customers' shops. I'm at our customers' job sites. A good one here. Let's talk about Stewart and Tate had an 850 dozers all the way down in Maryland. I have a good relationship with Gary Campbell. He called me up. He knows, hey, I'm the undercarriage guy, amongst many other things. He calls me up. I drive down to, that was somewhere in Maryland. I can't remember. It's been a little while, but it's like somewhere near Perryville or something, Maryland. And he said, hey, take a look at it. It needs an undercarriage. There's some blade work. And so I'm basically like the eyes and ears out there in the field, gathering the information. And a lot of times, these big jobs, I need a Geoff. I need somebody to help me along because it's basically like a handoff. I'll quote the job. I'll ask Geoff, like, hey, how long do you think, we've done this job before? I'm almost like a customer. Kind of that, I wouldn't say I'm not a middleman. I was the eyes and ears. I'm the one that gets to go out there and report back. But Geoff gets to be the one to kind of help field some of those questions I have, help me look up parts as well, saying, hey, we got to do this or that. But the big thing, I mean, Geoff, you can chime in at any time. I think the big thing is when we get that quote and it's accepted and the customer says, yeah, let's do it. That's pretty much a handoff to Geoff.
Yeah. Yeah. After that, it's, ordering the parts and scheduling the job and just facilitating, making sure everything is going as smoothly as possible, and just getting the job completed. And, when there are hiccups, you take that as it comes. And whether that's communicating with you to communicate to the customer.
I was just going to say, it's a lot of communication.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Teamwork and communication is what kind of makes that our relationship.
Would you say that's the secret sauce, really, Jay? Yeah. To answer your question, the way I would see it, that's the secret sauce is communication between Geoff and I when we get these jobs either in the quoting process to when they get accepted, machine getting scheduled. And it's actually even while the job's going on. I mean, there's stuff comes up, you take something off and you realize there's more to this. A lot of times Geoff knows, hey, Jason's got a good relationship. We were talking about this. He might call me and say, hey, do you want to talk to the customer about this? I'll be like, no, Geoff, you got a good relationship. Just, take it and run with it. There's,
Gary, you can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Communication is what makes that work well. That's the secret to getting that job done.
Yeah.
And then more of a question for you, Geoff, like what do you do as a service manager during the execution to ensure that repair goes well? Like, cause I'm sure you've had some newer guys where like, if you let them go off on their own, like it's going to be a sideways job that goes on for weeks on end. Like, I mean, how do you help wrangle that in to ensure, Jason set this up for us, he pre-gamed it all up. Like, you want to execute it as well as possible. I mean, what necessarily goes into that?
I mean, minimizing the distractions in the shop. There are other things other than just working on the equipment here. Customers picking up stuff, rental equipment, picking up their own equipment, new equipment coming in. So trying to minimize the distraction to that technician if possible. If it is a rush job or something that is urgent, facilitating parts, I am capable of looking up parts. Sometimes I do goof it up a little bit, but yeah, if I can, try and look up the parts for the tech if we need anything additional, ordering it for them so they can keep moving. just kind of keep things flowing.
And I think a lot of that we share too. I mean, I know, the biggest thing is working as a team too. You're saying that communication, but you also mentioned teamwork before, but it takes a village sometimes to get these jobs done because of all the bits and pieces that come together. It's round pegs, square pegs. You got to find the right holes to make them fit.
Absolutely.
And so we're talking about best case scenario. So like what happens if a job goes sideways? Like we throw around like throwing in a DTAC case or anything like that. Like how do you normally explain that to like a customer? Like,
and just so those that don't know, what's a DTAC case?
Well, that's what I'm kind of like asking Geoff. Like how do you discuss that with a customer? Like, hey, there's a thing going sideways here. We need more help than what the dealer, outside of what the dealer knowledge base is.
I think the key is to be upfront, and let them know like, hey, this is something that, we haven't seen before or we don't see a lot of, and we are working directly with Deere on a solution that's as direct and quick as possible.
Now, there's obviously other things too that get funneled through, as you mentioned when we were talking before here, that get funneled through the service department. Outside of just working on customers' equipment, fixing customers' equipment, obviously going out to road jobs to, out there on the road to in the field getting equipment worked on.
Absolutely.
How do you manage all that? I mean, I know you say you have a schedule. You stick to the schedule. And obviously, you have you have 2 other folks in the service department helping you there in the office. There's got to be some kind of communication there as well. And
yeah, I mean,
unpack it all. Lay it out for us.
We do get a lot of not specifically just service problems or service, events that happen in the service department. So yeah, we are the ones that are dealing with the rental equipment coming in and out, new equipment coming in, customers picking up sold equipment. So you have to prioritize certain jobs. A tech might be on something that's more important, so you just have to know who to pick for that certain job.
What do you think are some of the biggest strengths with your field techs? Or like you say, they're all different. You have to know. The
field techs tend to have a more in-depth troubleshooting skill set, in my opinion.
Unpack that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I feel like in the field, and it's not always this way, but the jobs tend to not always be the seeing it to the end. There are jobs that they do go out there, figure it out, and fix it. But there are times where their only thing they're doing out there is troubleshooting to the point where, okay, this is the problem. It's too big to do out here. It doesn't make sense. And then it comes into the shop. But that's not to knock the shop guys. I mean, those guys definitely can troubleshoot, but one of the required skill sets to be in the field is to be a strong troubleshooter.
So there's got to obviously be some also communication between the field techs.
Absolutely.
And when the machine comes into the shop.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge deal, I think.
Yeah. And it is common. The job does start in the field and it is too big or too in depth to do in the field, and it comes into the shop.
How common is that, would you say?
I bet it's probably 50% of the time.
Oh,
Bigger engine jobs and stuff like that.
I'd say, what's usually the threshold, Geoff? You find yourself, oh, no, you can do that out in the field, or no, you're right, we should probably bring that in as, the conversation. Like, what's the threshold?
What's the determining factor there?
Price comes into it a lot. Travel becomes an expensive part of the repair. So if it is, more cost effective to truck the machine into the shop rather than travel back and forth, that's kind of our biggest determining factor. But it could also be capabilities of, you don't have all the tools you need in the field.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say today, the cost is one of the biggest determining factors as far as, can we complete this in the field or should we bring it into the shop?
So what about, we're still running our loop truck, right?
Correct.
How busy has that been? Like, does it make more sense to perform those on site? Like, what benefits does that truck?
Absolutely, it makes more sense. I think, it minimizes the downtime.
Let's talk about the lube truck.
He's probably our most consistently busy person in our service department as far as
And which tech
schedule.
do we have in the truck right now?
That would be Ian Kleinsmith. He's out there rocking it. But yeah, I think doing those services in the field it's incredibly important. Rather than trucking that machine into the shop for something as simple as just preventative maintenance, it just doesn't always make sense.
So the importance of preventative maintenance
is for uptime. I mean, we can keep them up and running longer and more by being able to service them out in the field like that.
And why a lube truck and not just a general service truck?
I mean, that thing is built specifically for doing preventative maintenance.
Massive capacities of oils and pumps.
He carries a lot of oil. I mean, almost all the oils he needs to do any of our machines as far as PM services.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also, the waste oil.
Yeah.
He's got a big old tank on there. It's not filling into buckets. And
yeah, it's more efficient than a regular service truck. I mean, that truck is specifically built to do this task at the most efficient way.
So how many lube service trucks do we have throughout the company?
I believe we have 4. So there's one out west.
That's out of Harmony.
And then there's one here in Lebanon.
Yep.
One in Mechanicsburg, and then one out of Sellersville.
So basically customers across the state we can service.
Absolutely.
Which is a great
it's an asset as a company, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be going out to Harmony hopefully within the next month to get pictures of their new lube truck. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's great.
Has a very nice wrap on it.
Oh yeah, it's a new wrap.
It's really nice. Fresh new wrap. Yeah. It'll be nice to see it on site.
It also frees up technicians in the regular service trucks that aren't, they're not necessarily equipped to be efficient at doing preventative maintenance. But it also frees them up so that they can focus more on the repairs and the diagnostics and items like that.
One thing I noticed being out with lube techs, and I'm going back, I've been out in the field over 8 years now. While we've had lube trucks, it seems like the lube techs have a keen sense for inspecting machines. Like they're out there doing maintenance. And I think a big part of preventive maintenance, not just changing the oils and the filters, and a big part is inspections. Because these machines, especially right now, I mean, we're in the heat of, the season, so to speak. And these machines are running hours on hours, nonstop. It's from sun up to sundown. Some are even running second, third shifts even. We were talking about JD Ekman. I mean, they're running nonstop. The hours are just racking up, and it's tough to keep track of their own machines. But I noticed that our lube techs across the board, all the ones that I've been out to, they're so keen on checking that machine over for worn blades, codes that come up, all kinds of things. What have you noticed with our lube techs? I'm sure they're funneling and communicating that. Is there a process that we have in place that you use when these guys, even not just our lube techs, but also our road techs, inspecting machines over when they're out there looking at them?
Yeah, so we are doing machine inspections when we complete the job. And that's something that here in Lebanon we're sending to the customer after they're done. And it outlines any issues that we've found. It gives the opportunity for them to take care of it at that time, or, at least something for them to plan for down the road, back to the, uptime that, maybe they can't handle it right now, but before it becomes a giant issue, they can plan for that, to have that machine down and get it fixed.
Yeah. So that's that communication again. So what do you do with that information?
So yeah, we're looking over those inspections, and then we are forwarding that information on to the customer for them to do with what they need. Whether it is, hey, let's take care of it, or, let's plan for that in the future. Winter's coming up. Let's get a quote. Let's get an estimate on that job, see what we can do. But yeah, it's just good to have that information for the customer.
It's a more proactive approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you were talking about working with Jason and working with your parts team. Like I hear a lot about connected support, and like Deere's always talking about JD Link and all this. Like, I mean, how do you work with the connected support department?
So yeah, Tyler fields a lot of those calls. So he's getting the alerts. Most times he's doing the initial contact, kind of explaining what goes on or what the customer might be seeing or experiencing, and confirming if they want us to look into it or help them out with it. And then he forwards that on to us. And then we're scheduling it, ordering the parts, and facilitating the repair. But a lot of times that's, something that the customer's not even seeing or they didn't know was happening. It's a lot of...
There's a lot going on behind the curtains that they're not seeing.
Yeah. It's one of the cool things, actually. Yeah, we're getting these alerts, these expert alerts. And yeah, the customer might not even be experiencing an issue per se, something that's an actual symptom on the machine. But it's working into being a bigger problem that might cause downtime, and we can get out there proactively and fix the issue and keep them running for longer.
Has there ever been a time you beat like a fleet manager or something to the punch? Like you call them before their operator even lets them know?
Yeah, absolutely. I know like down at Lancaster County Solid Waste, they get a lot of overheating calls or codes. And yeah, we see them. And I call down to Aaron and I'm like, hey man, you're either the older or the newer 850 is showing it's running hot. And he's like, okay, yeah, I didn't see that yet, or the operator hasn't told me about it. So now they are able to clean it out or do what they need to prevent an actual issue. But yeah, that's probably my most common, I think.
Yeah, connected support is a huge deal. I think there's a lot of success stories out there with connected support. I know we've had customers that it's not that they need eyes and ears, and I think as connected support grows, I mean, Jay, you're a big part of that team, not just a John Deere certified dealer trainer, but also, working with the connected support team, implementing that training for our technicians, for probably like most of the company. I mean, this is like a company-wide deal.
It affects everybody.
Yeah.
Salesmen can sell it. It's a thing that we offer as a dealership. It's built into almost any machine with a modem. It helps, funnel issues Jeff's way. That way he can reach out to the customer, helps funnel things out your way. Hey, this might be an opportunity to reach out to a customer for, this part or that. Which really is extremely advantageous for the customer. I mean, any downtime you can save. I mean, we get notified on anything from, things as simple as water and fuel codes to, we submit a sample and we get it back and it comes back either, high wear metals or, fuel contamination, and we can actually work on a remedy remotely.
Jeff.
Yes.
I've noticed over the many years working out of our Lebanon store, there's a certain camaraderie. There's something in the air when you walk in here, and you get to work hand in hand. We talked about this earlier. You're back there working with Tom, and you have Jamie that does a lot of the admin work. You guys are a great team, working with the parts department, working with, sales as well. You and I, we have this ongoing, we're avid watchers of the show, The Office.
Yes.
Now I've seen the episodes, like all of them, all 9 seasons worth, multiple times. I know you've watched through the whole deal, and every once in a while we'll come in and there's just like a scenario that we bring up from The Office. Is there any scenarios? And I know there's got to be a lot of our listeners out there that that have watched The Office, I mean, from its beginning pilot, which was weird, to, you know, Michael Scott leaving, to, you know, all the way up to the end, you know, any scenarios that you see like in the office here, in the shop, and you know, that remind you of The Office?
I think the biggest similarity I see is when Michael and Jim are manager and co-manager.
I think they were both co-managers.
Yeah, you might be
but
right.
Michael Scott didn't see it that way.
Exactly. But I think that almost perfectly describes Tom and I's working relationship. In the show, Michael does big picture. You know, he handles
Tom's the big picture.
He's the big picture, and then me, you could call me Jim, I guess.
James, Jimothy,
does more of the day to day. You know, handle a lot of the day to day tasks. But I think, that would be the most common thing that I see between our shop here and that show.
Do any of those scenarios ever play out that you've seen in the show, like between you and Tom?
I would say we might work a little better than those two do together. Yeah, Tom and I have a good working relationship. But yeah, that's a guy to, you know, try and learn everything you can from.
That's true.
Tom being here for, longer than I've been alive. He's seen so many different generations of equipment and just how things have changed throughout the years. You know, he's probably forgotten more than I'll ever know. But yeah, I try and learn as much as I can from Tom. I
think the interesting thing, and just for, you know, for our listeners that are, you know, that know The Office, in that episode where you had the co-managers, it kind of carried on for a while, but I remember that Jim had to deal with, and if I'm mistaken here, it was some kind of a problem that Jim had to deal with. And like they were locked in their office because they didn't want to go out there and face the employees as co-managers. Yeah. And Michael's kept going like, no, I'm the manager, you know. But I remember at the end of that, Jim realized like the seniority, the expertise, and I remember Michael Scott sitting next to Jim at the very end, like kind of reminiscing of the situation, and Jim realizing like, oh yes, what are you learning from Tom? I mean, that you are right. He is a wealth of experience and expertise, and
he just he has a way. He has certain customers, and the way he deals with his customers is something to be learned for sure. Especially, you know, I haven't really been doing this that long, so going from being the technician who, you know, is in front of the customer, you know, solving the problem for him rather than being the guy that's telling them the bill and the big numbers. You know, that's a skill you need to learn. And I think he's mastered that pretty well. But also just kind of wrangling the guys in too is sometimes, you know, it's a necessary skill. But yeah, he has a way of, you know, trying to keep the guys at least at one task and under control.
It's like herding cats.
Yes. Sometimes it is.
Yeah. There's got to be that moment though. We all make mistakes. I think a big part, I mean, I can talk about my mistakes all day long. I've made quite a few of them. I know Jay doesn't make any, but
yeah, right.
No, we all make mistakes. I mean, there's all that's part of learning. I mean, that's how we learn. That's how we get better. That's how we do things day to day. Becomes a big part of working alongside of experience. Has there ever been that Jim and Michael scenario where, you know, Jim made a mistake and Tom, you know, can you talk into that a little bit?
I've definitely had that situation where, yeah, maybe I mishandled or misquoted or something, like, hey, you know, this is what I did. And, oh, all right. You know, this is how kind of we play through the conversation. Like, hey, this is what I would do. This is how I would recommend we handle it. But yeah, that goes back to Tom knowing how to handle the customers and learning that skill of, it might not always be great for you. But yeah, just kind of how to stay composed and not necessarily stand your ground, but you have to defend yourself a little bit. And then also you got to make it right. So if you did goof up, you have to figure out the happy medium for you and the customer, because at the end of the day, you did help them out. Maybe you quoted them a little low, or you didn't communicate well enough, and you just kind of handled something in the moment, and then you didn't let them know. So you just you got to be fair. You got to be fair to them, and I think they have to be realistic too, and just kind of meet in the middle.
I cannot tell you how many times over the years I've just, in the back of my mind, things going on. And I'm sure listeners out there, if you're listening, which you are listening, obviously, because you're hearing this, but I'm sure if you've watched The Office, you have done that in your line of work, wherever you are. There's just so much relatable scenarios in The Office.
I thought the best episode was the fire drill episode.
I like the fire drill. I mean, when the cat gets thrown into the ceiling.
Comes down through the drop ceiling.
Oh, I can't even tell you which one.
If I'm having a bad day, I can just watch that opening scene and I'm like, I'm good.
I think everybody at some point has been a part of, or in some facet or another, of the dinner party episode. That awkward tension. I mean, sometimes you can cut it with a knife.
Yep.
Oh man, so relatable. And the characters too. Which character are you? Are you the Jim? Are you the realistic one that always looks into the camera with that weird face? Or
I'd like to think I'm a Jim.
Jim.
Yeah, I would take that as a compliment if someone said that to me.
Jay, you've seen a few episodes. What are you?
Sometimes I like to imagine I'm Stanley. Leave me out of your shenanigans, please.
Doing your crossword puzzles. I've yet to find. I've been told that I'm an Andy Bernard.
If you have to designate, are you the early Andy or you manager Andy?
Maybe at one point in my life I was the earlier Andy, but I think I have progressed to a little more subdued.
You're not punching holes in the wall.
I'm not
anymore.
punching holes in the wall anymore. I'm good to go. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to who we work with. And I know that's part of our slogan, our mantra here at GT&E, that, a big part of it is the people. And I want to thank you, Geoff, for coming on here. I know it's tough for you. It's once you get into work, it must be tough not being able to take care of things right now. And you took that time to sit down, and I appreciate Jay coming on here. I'd love to have you back again. You're a good asset here. A great co-host, guest co-host, I guess we can call it.
Yeah, it's fun every time I'm here.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We're at what, episode 6?
This will be episode 6.
Episode 6.
Half a dozen in.
I guess I have a question. What customer, an individual from any company or a customer in particular, who would you like to see on the show?
I think Carl Lefevre.
From Horst.
From Horst.
That's interesting.
Always like talking to Carl. He's always in a good mood, and I hate telling him bad news. I always say that he's the worst person to tell bad news to. Because he's so nice. Poor guy. But yeah.
Carl and I have talked about this. I know he has interest, so maybe Geoff, if you're up for it, you could be
a co-host. Co-host him.
We'll get like 10 people in here. Just listen to the wisdom and how Carl at Horse Excavating keeps it so cool.
Like, how do you take the bad news when your bill is this much?
Yeah. Oh, I hate telling him bad news.
Well, thanks for what you do, Geoff. Thanks for being on here, Jay.
Of course.
Rachel.
I'm here to edit.
You're here to edit, but you're a good asset here as well.
Hopefully, yeah, September 30th. That's the day.
That's when they're coming out.
That's when this is coming out.
So that was the IronCast episode 6 with Geoff Ruhl. We're out.